Welcome back to Near Dark Podcast and episode 102 with me, Josef, and Zombie.
Yo.
We don't have a fucking clue where Augie is, as always, and Blue had some hip problems, I think.
Yeah, so it's just the two of us in the void today.
Yeah, well, we've done this a couple of times before, so I think we'll make it work somehow.
Yeah. We have before, so we'll today.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and today we're going to talk about the 2014 or 2015 Austrian psychological, I guess, horror movie Goodnight Mommy. The reason I'm saying 2014 or 2015 is because a specific reason I'll get into a bit later, but that's the movie we're gonna talk about today. I guess you haven't catched anything since we last recorded. It's just it's just an assumption, you know.
Yeah, the only thing that's like worth mentioning, I guess, is that the podcast I was or am listening to did a milestone one shot of the tabletop Call of Cthulhu.
Oh.
And I haven't played it myself or listened a lot on like people playing it, but the things I've gathered is like it is and can be very like gruesome and disgusting and whatnot. And it's very interesting to listen because it is very mystery-esque with a lot of different kind of gore, if you want it there to be. And the more the characters understand of all of the random shit that's happening, the more they go insane.
Yeah, that's Call of Cthulhu for you.
Yeah. Like, the characters are trying to solve something while trying to not understand what they're solving. Which is a very interesting concept. And every time they see something like gruesome happening, it's just draining their sanity.
Yeah.
The first episode that they at least released on Spotify of this one shot, like just in the first episode alone, what happened was like a flock of crows just dropped dead simultaneously on the ground, splattering everywhere. And the guy was just made into basically putty smeared on a wall, still alive and talking. And the way they just use the music in the background that they add and the way the GM describes it, it is like very easy to like envision it. It puts you in the moment, so to speak. If people are interested in something like tabletop podcasts and horror, I don't have any specific to recommend, but just to look into people that podcast Call of Cthulhu.
What is the name of the podcast?
It is one I have mentioned before, and it is Just Roll With It. But the specific episode that they released, and they only released like one episode for free, which was Blood in the Bayou, and all the others are in behind the paywall of Patreon of theirs.
Okay. All right.
But that is something I have noticed, is that a lot of Dungeons and Dragons specifically, like podcasts, release one free episode of Call of Cthulhu.
Well,
because this is the second one.
I remember the old game Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth.
Yeah.
In which you play I think he's a detective who goes to this small fishing town which I can't remember what it's called right now. And tried to solve a. I think it's like missing people thing or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I played a pretty big chunk of that game back in the day, and it's fucking horrifying. There's a sequence where you get chased through a hotel, and you have to bolt the doors after you because they're trying to, well, get to you and shoot you with shotguns, and it's really intense. And that sequence is also in the movie Dagon, which is also based on Call of Cthulhu. But that sounds good.
Yeah,
it sounds good. Anything else?
At the top of my head, no. I can't say I have watched anything new or played anything new.
Okay. This will be a pretty quick one, actually. The only other thing besides the main feature I've watched is the 2022 remake of the main feature, which is Goodnight Mommy. It's the American remake, starring Naomi Watts as the mother character.
I did see pictures of it.
Yeah, well,
while searching for the movie.
I kind of guess we will cover that movie next year. So I won't go into any details. But what I can say is that the original movie is a lot darker than the remake. It felt a bit like they didn't. They didn't really have the balls to go where the original went.
Yeah.
Because the movies are similar and they follow pretty much the same plot, but there are differences between them. I mean, the remake is okay, and we're gonna go into the original movie a bit more. But if you decide to just watch one of the movies, I would, at least right now, say go with the original. Even though I think both movies have the strengths, but I also think that both movies have their weaknesses, and we'll go more into the original's weaknesses and strengths in a little bit. But that was a bit rambly, but
but
that's
it was worth.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much everything I've managed to catch since we last recorded. I've been really busy with other stuff, so
yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah. Okay, so should we roll the trailer, perhaps?
This feels like the fastest we've gotten to a trailer in a long time.
Yeah. I know we got a couple of episodes where we talked for like 2 or 3 minutes and then we rolled the trailer. But it's been a while. So, but here is the trailer for Goodnight Mommy.
Mamma? So anders. Ja, wie würdest du dich fühlen, wenn du von so einer Operation zurückkommst? Wer ist das? bist nicht unsere Mama. Bitte komm zurück, Mama. Ich mache alles. Jetzt kann sie uns nicht mehr auseinanderhalten.
In a lonesome house in the countryside between woods and cornfields lives the two 9-year-old twin brothers Elias and Lucas, who are waiting for their mother in the heat of summer. When she comes home, bandaged after cosmetic surgery, nothing is like before, and the two brothers soon start to suspect that this woman isn't their mother. Okay, so I heard about this movie when it was initially released. Back in I think I heard about it around 2014 or perhaps at the beginning of 2015 or something, and I personally thought it would be some kind of supernatural type of deal, because basically every fucking horror movie around that time was supernatural spookiness. So I honestly didn't care to watch this one, and I just let it pass without watching it. So when I sat down to watch this, the first thing I realized was that okay, before I continue on, we will spoil the fuck out of this movie, and there is a twist to it. So if anyone hasn't seen it and plan to see it, go and do that before you continue on listening, because we will spoil it. You have been warned. Okay, so the first thing I realized about I think it took like 2 or 3 minutes into the film, I realized that one of the brothers would turn out to be dead.
Yeah, I feel like in this movie they didn't try to hide it really, not truly.
I don't know if it was intentional or if they just did a really shitty job to hide it, because I don't think it would have been more obvious that he's dead unless they had, hung a fucking neon sign around his neck saying he's dead.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking obvious that the movie will take that route. So basically the entire film I just sat there, okay, when are they gonna reveal that he's dead? And it takes up until like the last 3 or 4 minutes of the film before they actually say that one of the brothers is dead.
To me, it felt very intentional with the way they presented all of the so-called hints, because it was glaringly obvious.
Yeah. I mean, you could see it at a mile away.
Yeah. And it felt more like, rather than we getting the twist, it was more of the waiting game to see who would crack first to admit that he was gone.
Yeah.
To see... It was more a waiting game to see what would happen when that fact was said, rather than the fact to be revealed. And how they made things work also with him not being real and everything, because I feel some movies that have that twist, like, ooh, one of the persons in this movie that is very revolved around these two people is not real. But then you look at the movie a second time and look at, like, then how was this possible? Because that would require two people to do it.
Yeah, well, they did a good job with that thing, because nothing that the dead brother did happened. Everything that happened in a house were because of the living brother.
Yeah.
For example, at the end when he have the candle, he you know which moment I mean.
Oh yeah. Like, he doesn't do anything until Elias comes there and do it himself.
Exactly. So I give the movie props for that, but yeah, I don't know. It really, to be honest, it really irritated me that they basically shoves it in your face, like, yeah, he's dead. Okay, when are you gonna say it out loud in the movie? But yeah, it might be that they were intentionally showing the viewer that, okay, one of the kids are dead.
Yeah. And it was just so obvious that the brother was in so much denial that he refused to have that be reality, and rather
he
convince himself that the mother was the one that wasn't real.
Yeah, well, he suffered from PTSD.
Yeah.
And I guess he blamed himself for what happened to his brother, I kind of guess. So that's why his brother manifests himself in his mind. And the mother character is fed up with him pretending that his brother is still alive.
Yeah, which is why it worked very well in the movie, where, like, they don't address him not being real. I think, despite showing very much that he's not real, because the mother has pretended that he was real to the point where, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not even gonna say his name or pretend to not notice that you address him at all.
I kind of guess she's psychologically burdened by the death of one of her sons as well, of course.
Yeah, and separation from the dad.
Yeah.
I think it's not said in the movie which happened first, and I don't know how important it is to the story which happened first, but just the fact that it did happen, and I guess it happened very close to one another.
Yeah.
For her to react very much the way she does.
Yeah.
She reacts very strongly. But yeah, I couldn't help myself after watching the movie, just like, what the fuck is going on? And so I did what many people do when they don't know what the fuck happens in a movie, and they go to Google to ask. And this is major spoilers for the movie, as mentioned again. What one site, I think, theorized was that the beginning segment before the boys come home is in fact before the brother died, and so the scene at the lake is where he died.
Okay.
Which is when he was counting his brother's breath under the water, and we never see him come up. We only see bubbles.
Ah. Yeah, I didn't catch up on that, actually.
I didn't honestly either, but it did it did make sense.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that was a like them quietly showing that this happened before they set everything else in motion,
yeah.
which was very interesting, which does continue on with him blaming himself for what happened.
Yeah. Like I said, he has PTSD.
And I think he's some kind of underlying problems as well, considering the way he
Yeah, I checked.
acts throughout the movie.
Yeah, the whole thing with the mother, he thinking that the mother is
Yeah.
an imposter. That I looked that up actually. I can't remember what it's called. Something like imposter syndrome or something, which apparently is a real thing. For example, if you get this syndrome, you can think that you can start to think that your mother, for example, isn't your real mother. She's an imposter. She's someone else.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't read that much into it, but I guess it can get triggered by PTSD, or you go through something really horrific, and
I just feel like it's several things going on inside that kid's head.
yeah,
But there's something deep with, even with the imposter syndrome, the way he reacts and acts out due to that feels very suspicious, to say the least. Considering, like, sure, you can get the idea that someone you love is an imposter, but the fact that he almost immediately after getting those suspicions went to torture
yeah, and
is, because it's one thing to not believe that the loved one is who you think they are, and to try and torture the answer out of said person,
yeah,
because those at the very least, as I'm not an expert, they feel very wide apart, because it feels like what most people would do is try to drive that person out of their life, trying to find who where the real person is.
yeah,
Or as they do, interrogate the person, but not to the point where they do it, or he rather.
yeah. Like you said, there were probably something more underlying in this kid, that got triggered even more because of the death of his brother.
Yeah,
And then he started to doubt that his mother was his mother, because she got fed up with him pretending his brother was still alive.
It might have been something that might never have been active before, something that would never have been
Yeah, it was something
acted
that
out.
Yeah, it was something that got triggered by everything.
Yeah.
But-
And I think trauma is a very, very big trigger in the whole cogwheel.
Yeah, yes, of course. I mean, trauma can trigger a lot of really bad underlying stuff in a person if the trauma is really excessive.
Yeah, and it can do a lot of things to the head.
Yeah. Can screw you up really bad. One segment of the movie I thought was, to be honest, I thought it was pretty, or rather, well, I thought it was unnecessary. Was the part when the Red Cross personnel came to the house. It just felt like padding of the running time.
Yeah, and it just felt to have something bring attention.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why the scenes were there. They were in the movie because they wanted to give the movie some tension. Something that could go really wrong for this kid.
Yeah.
but it doesn't
It
lead
felt
anywhere.
unnecessary still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really unnecessary because it really didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And the tension, I mean, if you've seen a horror movie once in your life, you can figure out that the what happens in those scenes won't matter to the rest of the film.
Yeah. Like, the only thing that scene caused was for the kid to glue the mother's lip shut and then to accidentally...
Oh yeah, oh
Clip
shit,
the
that's...
lips.
Yeah. Jesus
And
Christ.
they could have done it differently, but it also, even though it felt very unnecessary, made sense to give them a reason to do it. Because
Yeah.
they wouldn't have done it other than to keep her mouth shut. But it felt like they could have done that shorter. Unless... Like, it felt more like... I hate to use the word, but it felt more cringe than tension. Because it felt so awkward, is the thing. The whole interaction with
Yeah,
the
you,
kid and the
yeah,
Red Cross.
I know you have a really hard time with awkward
I
situations.
hated that scene so much. It was so awkward with them just sitting there waiting, and you just know, like, well, the mom's not coming. What now? Like, I could feel the awkwardness of the two of them just sitting there waiting, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I did, me personally, I didn't feel like it was cringe, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I cringed. at the
But
very least.
I just thought the scenes were so unnecessary.
They could have done it so much shorter.
Yeah, it was essentially just padding out the running time. Essentially.
Yeah. Like, they could have kept everything, like, by the door.
Yeah.
Where, like, she heard them coming in and them talking to the kid, like, mom's busy or something. Oh, but it won't take long. We just want to blah, blah, blah. No. And then, just as he managed to convince them to go, like, within just maybe a few seconds,
Yeah.
and her screaming, as they did when they went. And they could have done that whole spiel, but they could have made it faster.
Yeah.
And more tension inducing that way.
Yeah. Because the whole sequence of that just drags on and on. And like I said, it doesn't lead anywhere. And they could have done that in like 2 minutes instead of 9 or 10 or whatever it was. So yeah, that was... I really didn't like that part of the film.
Yeah.
And well, the rest of the film, I went into the movie like I said, I thought this was gonna be a supernatural horror movie. And at the beginning, like the first half of the film, I was like, okay, this is a supernatural horror movie. And then the torture started. I was like, okay, what the hell is this? And then towards the end of the film, I was like, okay, this was something that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
So the movie basically threw me off.
Yeah. Was this the first time you watched the movie?
Yes.
Ah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it was the first time I saw the remake as well.
Ah, okay.
Had you seen this one before, or?
Me and Blue had watched it once before. I don't know if we mentioned it in an earlier episode, but it was a few years ago. But I did remember not everything, but it felt like when things happened, like, oh yeah, then that happened. So I did know the twist.
Yeah.
And so I did view it through different lens.
Yeah. Well, it's reversed roles this time around. It's usually
Yeah.
you have seen the movie before. But yeah,
Feels good.
yeah, I know. But yeah, this was a first time watch for me. So, like I said, I expected a supernatural horror movie, but then it turned out to be. I wouldn't say that it's a torture porn movie.
No.
It got torture in it, but it's not, really excessive torture.
Yeah, it's not. They don't show a lot of it.
Yeah, it's a couple of sequences here and there,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's not like a Saw sequel.
Yeah. I don't know what they did with or what he did with the floss in the mouth. But
By the
yeah,
way,
they-
what the fuck was it up with those fucking cockroaches?
no idea.
I mean, who the hell has cockroaches as pets?
You'd be surprised.
I mean, it's fucking disgusting.
My cousin had, I don't know if he still has them, but he used to have like giant snails as pets.
Well, one of my ex-girlfriends has a giant snail as a pet. So I can.
Yeah, so like,
I mean, snails.
and some people have cockroaches.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. No, man. No, man.
And
That's
they
fucking.
did look to be of the pet variety because of their size. Because I think cockroaches that are pets, I don't know how big they are usually, but I don't think they are that big. But the pet variety is usually larger than its vermin counterpart.
Yeah, well, they're fucking disgusting either way. I don't
Yeah,
care
yeah.
if they're pets,
Yeah,
pets or not.
definitely. And they didn't look like they were in a very nice, like, containment.
Yeah, like an aquarium. I think
Yeah,
they're called.
A small aquarium for the quantity it had, with not a lot of variety in it.
Mm.
Because I feel like, despite whatever pet you have, you usually have like more than what that kid had. And yeah,
By the way, yeah.
someone should have known something was up with that kid the second he started gathering cockroaches.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. By the way, who killed the cat?
Honestly, I don't think anyone did.
Because in one scene it's alive, and then like I think like 10 minutes or 5-10 minutes or something later it's dead. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, who killed the cat? Because I don't think they show it.
No, they don't. They don't to give the kid the suspicion that mom did it without the proof, and they don't show it to also give you, the viewer, like, well, maybe the mom did. But honestly, I don't think anyone did. Some theorize that it wasn't real in the first place, but I think it just died because of starvation or old age, because when they find it, it's not in a
Good condition, yeah.
good condition. It was crawling around, meowing, like, help me, and then it crawled away. And some cats have a tendency to, when they know they are gonna die, to crawl away and hide.
Yeah,
So
they want to die alone.
Yeah, die alone in peace.
Yeah. Well,
And-
there's a lot of animals who do that.
Yeah.
They venture away from the herd to go and die because they know their time's up.
Yeah, and I do believe that was the case in this movie as well, considering everything.
Yeah, well, I was just really,
Yeah.
confused by it. Because I was like, okay, who killed the cat? Why? But yeah, that actually makes sense. Another thing that I didn't really understand was, when they cut loose the mother,
Yeah.
and she takes the
bed cover.
the bed cover,
the sheets.
Yeah, the sheets. Thank you. She's gonna change the sheets, but she takes the sheets and throws it at. I assume it's Elias, because he holds the crossbow, the mini crossbow, and she just runs. Why doesn't she overpower him? I mean, he's just a little kid.
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand that. And well, it ends with her running out and smacking her head in the concrete plates.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because she is scared and doesn't want to be alone with him or something, but yeah, it felt like she could easily have used the blanket to like wrap him up.
Yeah.
Easily and overpower him.
Yeah.
That way. But at the same time, she did need help, and I don't know if at that point she felt strong enough to overpower him, considering she had
maybe
how long she had been there and everything.
Yeah.
So she trusted her legs more than her strength.
Or zombie, or it's just a movie, and who gives a shit?
Yeah, and they needed a reason to move her from point A to B, knowing full well that they can't have the child that is supposed to be alone to do it.
Also, what the fuck was it up with her at the end? Did they glue her to the floor, or?
I think they glued her hands and hair.
Okay.
To the floor, yeah. Like the back of her hands.
Yeah.
And her hair, because she could lift her head to a certain degree, and then the hair was just stuck there.
Okay. Yeah, I really didn't understand that either, to be honest.
And I don't know if they did like the back of the clothes, but I did see the fact that she couldn't move her hands or hair. And the eyes as well.
Yeah, they glued one of her eyes, right?
I think they glued both, but they didn't glue the other well enough so she could still open it.
Yeah.
I don't know if she could open it fully or partially.
What did you think about the climax of the film?
It felt very... Considering the pacing of the rest of the movie, it felt very... Like, boom, bang, here it is. It felt like it was over within less than a minute. And everything else had been...
A bit of a slow burn, yeah.
Yeah. Everything was a slow burn except the ending, which was...
Yeah.
Well, everything is on fire. Now she's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
and I personally think the ending was what made the movie. To be honest, I get what you're saying. It was it felt like they just wanted to end the movie, sure, but I liked that they really had the balls to go that route.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because the ending is fucking dark, man. It's fucking dark.
I do like that it didn't go the
happy
this
route.
Is a child. This is a child in the end, so we are gonna redeem him, because as everyone in the movie can see, this is a child with like 100% mental problems.
Yeah.
Which is why we are gonna have the mother in some way like, oh, see reason, you're crazy, he's not real, and think that's gonna work. Like, he has had this delusion for a long time, considering the way the mother talked about it.
Yeah.
And so it feels like, also with the mom's earlier, the way she acted earlier, with not being the best mother, to be honest, and abusing him. And
Because she was fed up with his
yeah,
bullshit. Just,
yeah, it was understandable that she was fed up, but at the same time, that is not how you do it. Like, you can't expect a mentally ill person to stop being mentally ill just because you start screaming and hitting them.
No.
Like,
No.
a person seeing hallucinations and talking to someone, you start pounding them, like, to the ground, like, stop seeing this person, stop talking to them, and it's like, oh yeah, they are definitely gonna want to talk to you and trust you more than this person that is in their head that has done no wrong compared to you hitting them. They made that point very clear in the movie, that this mother, even though understandable, which is what makes it tragic still in that, that she was fed up and she didn't know what to do, and so she reacted the way she did.
Yeah.
And because of that, she had lost his trust till the very end, even though she admitted her wrongs and was like, hey, I can start pretending again, I can start making things okay, or okayer, and him not trusting her till the very end, causing her death.
Yeah.
It felt very fitting in a way.
Yeah.
And I do believe with the ending that they all both die.
Yeah, the ending is the very ending. The last scene is very what's it called? It's very
Out there.
Yeah, I mean it's
Vague.
vague is the word I'm looking for. It's really vague. You don't know if he stayed in the house because it, basically burned down.
Yeah.
Or if he went out into the fields and saw his mother and his brother out in the fields.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fitting ending, and I really think that they knocked the ending out of the park. And I really like that they had the balls to go this route with the ending. And it wasn't happy two shoes bullshit, because
although those curtains were highly flammable, they were so fucking flammable.
Yeah.
that couch was so fucking flammable.
But didn't they use some alcohol thing in the aquarium?
I don't know if they used it in the aquarium, yes, but I don't think it broke until after the curtains had caught on fire, as well as the couch.
I'm not certain about that, but yeah.
Because they lit the top of the aquarium on fire, then he tosses the candle in the sofa, and then he uses another candle to lit the curtains on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Then, because the sofa was a big flame right next to the big flame of the aquarium.
Yeah.
That later burst and made everything
you're
what
correct.
was already bad worse.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
That was the thing that felt like very rushed. That the second it broke, everything was on loose, because he must have doused everything in some highly flammable stuff.
Yeah.
Due to how highly flammable everything was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree that the vagueness gives everyone an ending that they can envision being fitting with what view they have of the movie. like, if you don't wish an extremely dark ending, you can envision, oh, the kid lived, and it being bittersweet that he envisioning his brother and mom. Or you can go the route of,
Well,
oh, they're all dead and is
I-
now gathered in the afterlife.
dude, I would say the ending is pretty fucking dark either way.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just that if you want the kid dead or not, or
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I know what you're saying, but still,
Yeah.
the ending is really dark, and compared to the remake goes in a little bit different route. I won't say what it does, but it's not as dark as this one. I would say that it's more tragic than dark, to be honest.
I feel like a lot of American horror movies don't like to kill kids. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unless it's like used for a plot point.
Yeah,
They
like
tend to not want to kill kids.
yeah, like what's that one called? Hereditary.
Yeah.
You
That
know the
was a
scene
whole
where we
plot
started to laugh our asses off in the
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, overall, Goodnight Mommy, the original movie. I think it's a good movie, but it has its flaws.
Yeah.
For one thing, I thought the kid was really, really irritating. I mean, it's a kid, but still, some of the things that he does in the movie is so. I just wanted to slap him so hard. I understand why he does the things he does, but it's one of those movies where I just want to grab the character and just slap them around.
Yeah.
And also some of the pacing is a bit off, like the scene we
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. But what makes the movie stand out from a lot of other stuff that you can put in basically the same kind of subgenre, I kind of guess, is the ending. I honestly didn't see that ending coming, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So,
Oh yeah, definitely.
but overall, I think the movie is good. It got its flaws, but it's worth at least a one-time watch.
I can attest to that. I can agree. I think we have a lot of the same flaws in mind, such as the pacing, that some scene can be very dragged out, and like, I just wished that the ending was a little bit longer. They could have kept how it all ended,
Yeah,
but it felt like they could have just shortened or compressed some of the earlier scenes and just dragged on the ending a little bit.
made a little bit bigger build-up in the end. Yeah.
To make you really feel the impact of it, because for a split second there it looked like, because earlier in the movie she almost did get through to him a few times,
Yeah,
and for a split second it did look like that in the climax as well.
yeah.
But they could have made those few instances more impactful to have this in the end, where it looked like he was really going to make that a bit longer, because it would have been impactful. As it still ended in the way it did, because it could have made it even more tragic in the way that he might have like almost considered it until the aquarium explodes, and at that point
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if he would have turned or not.
something that would have made the ending a bit more impactful. I mean, it is impactful, but what could have made it a little bit more impactful is that if he, you know, like a couple of seconds before the aquarium explodes, he realizes that what he has done and everything, and then
Yeah. Or just either react to what is done, or just finally, like, letting it sink in that the brother's dead.
yeah, exactly. It was that I was going for. I couldn't find the
Yeah.
words for it, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, but should we give this one a rating then, perhaps?
Yes, and as you are the first time watcher,
Okay, I'll go first then.
yeah,
I guess.
because currently I honestly have no idea, so I'm blaming you.
I've been struggling with the rating for this one. If I'm gonna be,
Same.
if I'm gonna be
Same.
completely honest, I mean it's too good for a 5 and a 6, I think.
Yeah.
But is it good enough for a 7 or 8?
Yeah, like it is good, but like not necessarily.
There are parts in it that are just unnecessary bullshit that it should have kept out of the film. So
Yeah. I will give it,
yeah.
to maybe help, I'll give it a 6 or a 6.5, because it is good,
Yeah,
but it does have its very glaring flaws.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 6.5. Just to be fair.
Yeah.
It's not good enough to be a 7, but it's better than a 6.
Yeah.
So 6.5.
Like, it does have rewatch value a few years down the line, is what I feel like.
Yeah.
To, like, when you started to forget some things about the movie, that's when you can rewatch it. Not necessarily to, like, engage, like, extreme with it, but maybe to just have in the background, or just idly watching it.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, it's not...
rewatching it for rewatching its sake.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a movie that I will run my legs off to rewatch anytime
no.
soon.
Oh no, definitely not.
But it's definitely a movie I can rewatch like 5 or
Yeah.
6 years down the line.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I checked up some background on the movie and I didn't find that much, but the worldwide gross for the film was about $2.2 million. I couldn't find what the budget for the movie was, unfortunately. It had its world premiere at the 71st Venice International Film Festival on August the 30th, 2014. And then it was theatrically released on January 5th, 2015 by Kino Verley. And that is what I meant with if the movie was released in 2014 or 2015.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But to also add to this, I haven't watched it myself, but I think on YouTube there is an interview with the director of the movie in which they do answer a few questions about the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I might need to go and check that one out then.
So in case you want more
Information and background
more information
on the movie.
and back, yeah,
Mm.
and just general questions about the movie.
Yeah. The original title, Ich sehe, means I see, in German.
Yeah.
The actors were not given the script, and the movie was filmed chronologically. I guess they told the actors the lines for each scene when they were gonna film the scenes, and how they were gonna act and everything. The film was selected as the Austrian entry for the Best Foreign Language Film at the 88th Academy Awards, but it did not receive a nomination, unfortunately. And the names of the twin boys, Elias and Lucas, are the same as the names of the actors who played them, which is Lucas Schwartz and Elias Schwartz. And that is unfortunately everything I have for this one.
Yeah. But the next episode, what are we doing then?
I believe it's my pick.
I do believe so. Otherwise, we will update you on that one in the next episode.
I'm pretty sure it's my pick. And, okay, so it's been... In the next episode, it will be 100 episodes since we covered the first movie in this franchise.
Oh.
So, I'm gonna go with an absolute classic and one of my favorite movies of all time. So we're gonna go back to 1987, and we're gonna travel out to that damn cabin out in the woods together with Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead 2.
Oh.
And I got a question for you, Zombie.
Nice.
Have you seen the first Evil Dead?
I have.
Okay.
It was a good few years ago, I can admit that.
Okay.
And I remember watching it at a friend's apartment when we did I think I was like in 7th grade or something or other.
Okay, so it was about 200 years ago then.
Yeah, basically.
The reason I'm asking you is because there's a little bit special thing with Evil Dead 2. Because they didn't have the rights to use clips from the first film because the rights were owned by a different production company.
Sounds so stupid.
Yeah, so they had to do a sort of short remake in quotations of the first film as an introduction of the second movie to set up the second movie's plot. So my recommendation to you, my friend, is that you watch both The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 for the next review.
Yeah. Like, I do remember a lot, but at the same time, not a lot of the first movie.
And hey, I mean, it's The Evil Dead. It's one of the best low-budget classics you can get. So
yeah,
just remember to watch it in shitty quality.
Yeah. What I do remember of the movie is that me and a friend were the only ones awake amongst like 5 people maybe or more to watch the like majority of the movie, and we were so dead tired, but we didn't want to sleep until the movie was over. So we just sat there slumped over like, die already, please. Please just die. Like that's the majority what I remember of the movie. Like, oh, he almost died, fuck, he survived.
But yeah, more on that in the next episode.
Yeah.
And
what are we playing out with?
Yeah, I just got a stroke, sorry. We are playing out with Guten Abend, Gute Nacht by Gerfil Floors. It's a woman on YouTube who did a cover on that song. I kind of guess it's a goodnight song for kids.
A lullaby.
Yeah, a lullaby. But yeah, that is what we are playing out with. A last thing, by the way. In the last episode, we were supposed to play out with the main theme of 28 Days Later. I uploaded the episode, and, well, the episode got blocked in like 15 countries, so I had to redo some editing. And we were playing out with the Slayer Dead Skin Mask instead. So
Yeah.
that's the outro song for the last episode as well. I almost forgot to mention that.
I hope you did that shitty like re-dub where you just block out the original title you said and just monotonely add a very obvious clip over of you saying the other title.
Fuck, why didn't I think about that? I just cut out what we were playing out with.
Like, oh man, I sure love the movie Living Dead. Like, just very obviously, like, out of place. And you do that with any one of our voice in the future, no matter the one saying the outro wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that in mind. But alright, let's wrap this one up then.
Let's.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the Evil Dead 2 review next time. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for listening. And yeah, hopefully we'll hear from you. Hope you enjoyed this episode with just me and Joseph. Hopefully we'll have more of the crew together next time. But yeah, bye bye.
Bye bye.